Have you ever done a lot of work that nobody noticed? Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you started working on something because you had a gut feeling, something that you wanted to follow, some sense of knowing that this was something that you needed to do? And you went and you did the thing, and you spent the time learning how to do the thing. You put together version after version of what this thing could potentially look like. You worked at it. You worked on it on your time off of work when you could have been relaxing, when everybody else was out and doing what they do, living their lives, partying, having a great time. But you were sacrificing. You were trading your time to try to do this thing because you thought that it may eventually help you sometime in the future, or maybe not. But you hope that it does. You may not have any proof of how it's actually going to tangibly help you, but you just know that if you could just get it in place, maybe, just maybe, it will help you move you forward towards, one step closer towards that life that actually fits you. You're tired. You're restless. You do all of that, and you feel like once you're done with it, and you're proud of it, of what you created, or what you did, or what you spent your time on. And at this point, you're waiting for everyone to drop what they're doing and tell you, congratulations, you did a great job. But then it hits you. The world keeps moving. Nobody asks about it. Nobody talks about it. You don't never know whether or not it's helping you or not helping you. After all of that work, it feels like no one noticed. That's what we're going to talk about today. Why should we do the work that no one notices? Why should we put in the time, in the effort to do things when it feels like no one notices? What is the point? I'm going to answer that. But before I do, welcome back to Crazy Good Talks. Listen, if it's your first time listening, I just want to say welcome. My name is Josh, and I'm super excited that you're here with us, journeying and learning together. Look, here's my commitment to you, the listener. Here's my commitment. My commitment is that I will be honest, open, and transparent in these conversations that we are having. Look, this is a place where we share insights, not advice, to help you get unstuck, move forward, live aligned, so that you could build a life that actually fits. I'm super excited that you're here, super excited to get into this conversation. But before we do, we got to do our check-in. See, the check-in is where I take a second to stop and assess where I am, what emotion I might be feeling, because I think it's important to cultivate awareness in our lives as we're navigating things and know that sometimes emotions are like glasses and they kind of affect how we see and experience things. So I think it's important for us to be aware of what we might be feeling. And right now, this is very interesting because I feel like I've been on a string of more positive. And sometimes I'm scared to say that, positive emotions. And sometimes I'm scared to say that because then you're anticipating the shoe to drop a little bit. But I'm gonna rest in this moment. I'm not going to look further out. Because right now I am feeling proud. I'm feeling proud, y'all. I got my head up to the sky. I am feeling proud. Let me tell you why I am feeling proud. So I set us up with that tension of feeling like we've done a lot of work that no one notices. Now, I think that this is an interesting tension because for me, I feel like I have to dance with this tension a lot, right? I feel like I have to dance with this tension a lot. Let's take it back to even, let's say, 18, 19, 20-year-old Josh. And I remember this is when I started getting into Christian hip hop a little bit. And I remember there was a buddy of mine that would help us out. I was in a rap group before I actually did the solo thing, okay? So, but during that time, I had a buddy of mine that did some graphic design. And I remember being like, oh man, that's just such a helpful piece to what we do. And I'm the type of person where I'm like, I always like to learn. I always like to kind of see how to do the thing. So I'm watching and I'm just like seeing how he does things. And as he's editing, I'm sitting there and I'm just watching and I'm doing and I'm learning and I'm learning from afar just by osmosis. I feel like that's been one of my superpowers. Being able to get close to the thing to learn how to do the thing. So that's what I was doing. And I remember through that started a journey for a few years after that where, in the midst of that, probably like a few months later, I winded up he was using Photoshop. So I winded up getting Photoshop because I knew that that's what he used, but it was like a lighter version of that. And I remember I would create these things, these graphics, and they were horrible, y'all. They were trash. It was not pretty, okay? It just was not good. And I used to create things, and I used to try things, and I used to just never use them, or I would use them, but they just wouldn't look good. And I just remember just being frustrated. But graphic design was the only thing that I would dabble in. I would start dabbling in website building. Then I started dabbling in video. And like all the while, I remember one specific time. I want to go into this specific time where I started building this website and thought that this was going to be it. And I'm like, man, it's going to do this and it'll do that and it'll do this and it'll do that. And I remember crafting the whole website. And then nothing happens, right? Fast forward. This is probably, like I said, early 20s. Fast forward to now. About to be in my mid-30s, right? And year after year, as I continue to dabble with these things, something happened, okay? Now, I am no graphic designer. I am no website builder. I am none of that. Like, I am no professional in any of that. But I can say that I have gotten better. Okay? And the gift of compounding time has allowed me to do some things within those spaces where it's just like, oh, that's pretty cool and pretty helpful. So I find myself a little while ago, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, working on a website for myself. I started creating this website because I'm just like, man, I was in a place where I kind of felt stuck, if you would. And I felt stuck because I just didn't know what my next thing was. Like I didn't know what it was. I had moved from video into ministry with preteens, and but I always had a sense and an itch that there was something else I wanted to explore. Not something else that I wanted to explore. I just like to find different things that will allow me to cultivate creativity. So I'm just like, man, it feels like there's something else that I want to explore, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what the audience is. I don't know how to create an offer for the thing because I just don't know what it is. So I was just like, okay, you know what? Let me put together a website. And me and actually another buddy of mine were kind of like working on our websites at the same time. He had a video business and he's doing that. And I'm creating just like a personal brand website and putting things on there. And I went through versions of it. I went through one version of it on a whole domain platform, and then I switched it over to another one because I felt better. But long story short, I finally finished the web page. And as I finished the web page, now on the website, it was my information. It had links to like my speaking and speaking videos and different things like that, links to the devotionals that I've written, and all of those things just on that page. And I gotta be honest with you, I finished it about a year ago, and for the last year or change or whatever, it's just kind of been just sitting there. And I'm just like, yeah, I know it exists. I've never really consciously pointed people to it. I've linked it in my bio on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook and whatever the case may be, but I've never really thought twice about it. But then something happened recently where I get an email from someone inquiring about me doing some teaching for them. And I thought it was very interesting because I hopped on a Zoom call and we had a conversation. And in the conversation, he was talking about how he'd got my name from somebody else and that they had mentioned me and they had recommended me, and he had looked me up online, and he went to the website and he saw all the things on the website. He saw the teachings and he saw the things, and wanted to move forward with this opportunity. Now, I thought it was very interesting because even as I went on the call, I was like, man, we kind of chatted a little bit. There was a little bit of small talk at the beginning, but there wasn't any so what do you do? How do you do this? What is it? There was no real, none of that. I thought I'd have to explain myself a little bit more. I thought I'd have to go through some of the things that I've done and when I started and when I this and when I that. But truth be told, all of that was actually on the website. So it was just very interesting to me because for the longest time, I put a ton of effort into this thing, into the website, and didn't know whether or not people would notice it, right? And sometimes it felt like it just went largely unnoticed until it didn't. And here's the thing. Sometimes I found myself in a position where I've done a ton of work and it still went unnoticed or unnoticed to what I thought how it would be noticed or received. But there are times where we do the work when no one's asking for it, when no one's applauding, when no one's telling us to do it, and an opportunity shows up, and we're just ready for it. So here's what I want to talk about for the remainder of this conversation, and it's this: why should we continue to do the work that no one notices? What's the point? Why should we continue to do the work that no one notices? Because for me in that moment, it made sense. It made sense to me. Oh, this is why I do it. Like, and I remember I went and I talked to my wife and I was telling her about it. And I was just like, man, I'm proud. I am proud because I did the things on the front end and it actually connected on the back end. And sometimes it doesn't always feel that way. So when it does connect, I'm like, man, I got to stop and just appreciate this. So why should you do the work that when it feels like sometimes the work that it feels like no one will notice? Well, here's the first reason why I think you should. And I think it's because you shouldn't have to get ready for something or for that opportunity that you may be looking for or for whatever that is. You shouldn't have to get ready. You should be ready. Right? Here's something I realized. When we scramble to try to get something together last minute, oh, so this just came up. Oh, let me go try to do this. Oh, let me go this. Let me go try to fix my resume. Let me go try to do this. Let me go. Like when we scramble, that is a tax on our peace. Scrambling is a tax on your peace. Right? There are going to be times where there are, here's what I've learned in life, seriously, when it comes to this thing of like taking initiative. It's like you got to, at some point, take initiative when you're trying to build a life. If you're trying to be intentional about building a life that actually fits you, you've got to take initiative for those things because the way things are just normally set up, nobody is rooting for you to build that life. You see, everyone is rooting for themselves to build the life that fits them the best. So unintentionally at times, people will drag you into what they need and what they want and what maximizes their abilities or maximizes their talent so that they can create the world that they want to create, not necessarily worried about the world that you want to create. Let me translation that for a second. Let me slow down. That means when you're at work, your manager or your supervisor or your fellow coworker or whatever it is, they have their interest at mind for the most part, right? And that's not necessarily a negative thing, right? That they have their interest at mind. And it's just like, who has your interest at mind? You have to have your interests in mind. Right? You have to be the one that takes initiative on your part to do the things that's going to help you to build the life that you actually want, to build a life that actually fits you, right? And one of the ways that we do that is by getting ready in the times where it looks like nothing is happening so that when something may happen, when an opportunity does come, we are in place and ready to go, right? Preparation shifts our posture from, I hope I'm enough for this, to, man, I've been preparing for this longer than you realize, right? It shifts our posture. It gives us a confidence as we're walking into whatever that thing is, that we've taken the time to do this. Like, like we didn't just think about this. When he ran across that website, I thought it was so funny because he started talking about, yeah, like I seen your different speaking and different groups. And if you go to the site as it is right now, there's a section for, I speak to preteens, I speak to young adults, I speak to whatever. And when I was doing it, I was just like, man, is this overkill? Like, is this that? But like, that's the very thing that he watched that helped him to make his decision. And I just thought that was super funny. You shouldn't have to get ready. You should be ready. In the pursuit of trying to build the life that you actually want. And that's not all. You see, because not only should you not have to get ready, but you should just be ready. Here's another thing. Here's another reason why you should do the work that no one may notice. Because when you do the work that no one may notice, that same work will do the talking for you. You see, when your work speaks for itself, when you do the work speaks for itself. When we hopped on this call, like I said, we had a conversation, and it was funny because at one point in the conversation, I was just like, it came to this weird kind of lull, and it was just kind of like, because I was realizing like, oh, like you've already done your research. Like you already know everything you need to know. And like, because of that, like we're on this call right now, and I don't even have to explain anything. Like I've already explained it through laying out what I've done through the website. Like I don't have to explain anything, right? And that's what it is. When we do the work beforehand, whatever that work might look like for you, think about that. Think about your world. What is the thing that no one may be asking you to do right now, but you know that if you did it and an opportunity showed up and you were just ready for it, it would change things for you. It would move you one step closer to living that life that you're trying to build. What's one thing as you think about and you look at your life? Because as you do that thing will work for you. Whether you're a musician and you say, man, that thing is music, and you're walking around every day and saying, I'm a rapper, or I'm a this, or I'm an artist, or I'm a this. Well, let me hear your song. And you don't have any songs. You don't have anything, but it's something you just want to, like, go record that first thing, man. Whether you're a writer and you want to write and you want to create and you want to do books, or you want to do that, or you want to do this. Yeah, let me read something. You don't got a blog. You're not even sharing little quotes or little snippets on social for other people to see. Where is it? Like, how can you start doing it? Don't wait for the audience to do it. Start doing it. Start to do the work. Because when your work speaks first, you don't have to over-explain. You don't have to over-explain. You don't have to oversell. You don't have to defend yourself. It's out there. People can experience for themselves and make an opinion on what it is that they want to do, whether they want to engage or not engage, right? And you don't got to convince anyone. You are who you are, and people are able to opt in or opt out because you've already done the work. Can I be honest with y'all real quick? This show is me doing the work that no one is asking for. It's doing the work nobody's asking for. Nobody's asking for a show. Nobody's asking for my thoughts. Nobody's asking for me to come and sit and share my insights to help them to build a life. But here's what I know. Something in my gut tells me that this is going to be helpful. Something in my gut tells me that there are other people out there that will track, and this will be helpful to kind of help them to start to discern and help them to start to get unstuck, to help them to start to move forward and live an aligned life like they would like to do. So I'm going to hop out there and I'm going to start doing it. Even when no one is noticing. Because you know what? When the time comes, I believe that people will look and the work will speak for itself. So you shouldn't have to stay ready. That's what we first talked about. You shouldn't have to get ready, but you should just be ready. And then also, we want to be doing the work that no one may notice, because that work, that same work that no one notices, will be doing the talking for you when you get to the point that you want to get to. It will speak for you. And here's the last reason why I feel like we should be doing that work. I'm going to give you a heads up. If you're listening right now, this is going to challenge you a little bit. I'm going to apply some pressure. Pause for I'm going to challenge you a bit with this one, because I've had to challenge myself with this. You should be doing the work that no one may notice. Because if you believe something is true, you should be preparing for it. If you believe something to be true, you should be preparing for it. Right? You see, a lot of times when we feel stuck, it feels kind of hard to take the next step to try to prepare for something, because we're just like, well, we don't know if it's going to be this, or we don't know if it's going to be that, or we don't know if it's going to be this. But if you believe, or you have an inkling that that's the direction that you're trying to move into, you should start preparing for it. Right? It's just like if you were to, before I even go into that, that is faith. That's faith. Believing in the thing, but what proves your belief is that you are moving towards what you believe. And I'm not saying that that's automatically going to get you what you want, but I'm saying the posture is where you need to start. Right? Because some of us, if we are followers of Jesus, some of us may be praying for something. Some of us may be praying for this opportunity, whether it be in our career, whether it be as a hobby, whether it be in our personal lives, whether it be in our families. We're praying for these things, but we're not preparing for these things. So we're praying and hoping and believing for the thing, but we're not exercising our faith and taking our step to start to prepare for it. So how much do you actually believe that it's going to happen? You see, when you order something from Amazon, you know that thing is coming. So you get ready for that thing. You make space for the thing. My wife and I, she recently just got on this kick where she said she wanted to save the environment and wanted to no longer do water bottles. So we got this big water gallon jug thing, right, that she wanted to try out, and she's trying out, and basically got a little dispenser that goes on top of it. And we're just like, okay, that's cool. So now when she gets water, because she's primarily trying it, I'm still doing the water bottles for a little bit. But as she's doing that, and the water is there, she's dispensing, she's taking water from that jug. But when we ordered it, we had to stop and think. I said, okay, that's cool. You want to do that. Where is that going to fit in our place? Where is it going to fit? Are we going to sit there? Are we going to do it there? Do we need to move this? Do we need to move that? And we wound up having to move some things so that it can fit in its place. Why? Because we had placed an order and we knew the thing was coming, so we prepared for the thing. Oh, okay. Let me not start preaching in here. You prepare for the thing. If you believe something to be true, you prepare for it. You prepare for it. You don't wait for proof to start. You prepare because you believe the proof is coming. So, we should be doing the work that no one may notice. Because we shouldn't have to get ready. We should be ready. And because that same work will be doing the talking for us. And because if we believe something is true, we should be preparing for it. Imagine what it looks like for that thing to be true. Imagine all of your hard work, all of the long hours, all of the times you felt invisible, all of the times you felt ignored. Imagine that paying off. Imagine you being ready and not having to be scrambled when an opportunity comes, or just not ready for the thing to be able to step into it. You see, because I'm about to explore this opportunity that just came to me. And it's I don't know what's going to happen, but I was ready. And I'm going to tell you something, for all the times that this actually happened to a point where like I'm actually ready for something, there were many times where I did things and it just was never noticed, but I was able to take the work that I've done and it still helped me, whether it was in the skill that I built or whatever it was, it still winded up helping me down the line. So here's my hope for you. My hope is that you might step into the preparation and continue to do the work and not be discouraged by not being seen. I hope that you continue to do the work that no one sees. Join us next time as we continue the conversation. My name is Joshua.